All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of
If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.
Make America great again.
The Big Mig.
Episode. Our plan
Lance,
is to
start over. I had us muted. Start up. Just go.
All right, we're going to start again here. George, a little slippery slope this morning. Okay, listen, good morning and welcome back to the Big Mig Show. I'm your host, Lance Migliaccio, with our co-host, George Ballantine. Of course, it's tip of the spear, rise and grind, and if liberty means anything at all, well, on this show, it means the right to tell people whatever the hell we want. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, because our plan, unlike other shows, is to educate and unify the country. Everybody's welcome to watch this show. We don't blindly follow this administration or any other. We're hoping for the best, but sometimes you have to expect the worst. It's one of those deals where you keep going at it, you keep putting out the truth, and you hope there's going to be this accountability. You think transparency is going to bring accountability and consequences, but here we are another day. And I got to say, I want to give a little something for everybody here this morning. I just want to say, you want to think about, you ever looked at Memento Mori, George? Have you ever looked about the rules of that and kind of how you're supposed to live?
Yeah, I'm trying to fix something, Lance. So,
well, let me say this. You know, when you do Memento Mori, you prioritize what truly matters. You gain perspectives on life's challenges. You try to rise to those challenges. You cherish every moment. You live with more intention and purpose. And of course, you want to reduce the tendency to procrastinate and focus on the trivial. It's one of those deals where you've got to enjoy life. I'm not always great at it. I try to work at it. It's not one of my best skills. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Here we are doing what we do, and hopefully you guys enjoyed enough that you'll hit that follow button, you'll hit the like button. You'll tell your friends and family members it's a show to watch because, of course, these are true truth tellers. It's not mainstream media. If you want to get lied to, well, you know you're at the wrong spot. George and I won't do that. And the other thing about this show, if we make a mistake, you'll guarantee the next show will try to correct it for you. We'll come out and admit our mistakes. I think you have to take accountability for your actions, and that's one of those things you should do at home, do in your home life, do in your work life. Stay focused and do what you have to do to really have a better life all the way around. And of course, that's for you and your families. All right. Let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors. And if anybody would like to sponsor this show, may have a new sponsor coming on board that contacted us just recently. So info@thebigmig.com. That's info@thebigmig.com. You can hit us up if we like the product, if we like the offer you're going to give our audience. There's a good chance we'll get back to you. And of course, we're always looking for like-minded sponsors. We've got the radio show. We've got a lot of vehicles. We've got lots of followers on social media. We can gain that opportunity. But here we are, gold and silver. I love it. It's a safety net just in case things go wrong. The guys at the Genesis Gold Group do it best. Got a great stellar reputation. They've been in the business for decades. And they came out with this solution because they knew walking around with a 1 ounce gold or silver coin wasn't a great idea, that you couldn't walk around with 10 cents. That's why they came out with the 62.2 gram prepper bar. They're perforated, as you can see. You can see the 3 different denominations as I tilt the bar. And of course, that fits a multitude of needs. It doesn't matter whether it's asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or in the case of the prepper bar, it's extremely unique utility for barter and trade. It's a perfect gift. Comes with an assay report. They've got them in stock in gold and silver, and they're exclusively mined and minted in the great US of A, and they're always selling out fast. You can get them now. And I think you should always have a couple of these on hand. You should have gold and silver. You're going to pass it down to your children, your grandchildren, whatever. I still have the gold and silver I got as a child. I think holding on to it just in case things go completely, well, FUBAR. The point is, head over to Genesis Gold Group. You can hit them at genesisgoldgroup.com, or you can call them at 888-526-7154, 888-526-7154. Let them know the Big Mig Show sent you. That's genesisgoldgroup.com. or 888-526-7154. All right, George, are you stabilized? Are you relaxed?
Break me off a piece of that prepper bar.
I don't know.
I'll take that as a yes.
I don't know. I sent an email to support. Let them figure it out.
Yeah.
However,
All right.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. You know, like, somebody's talking about the soccer, saying, Bulldog, I never seen teams celebrate like 1999 for scoring 0-0. Very true, but that one team is now going to be advancing, so that they haven't done that for I don't know how many years. So to them, that's a celebration. I forget the name of the team, some country in Africa, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, good for them.
You know, I haven't really been watching World Cup. I have seen a lot of the excerpts online. I have to say, World Cup does draw in some gorgeous women. There's no doubt about it. Beautiful women stacked up everywhere. It's interesting as they come in going viral for their different.
A lot of those things are made AI stuff too.
Are they?
Yeah, there's like a thing where they're girls inserting her stuff like she's in the stands. So you have to just depends which one it is. But
could be right.
No,
I don't
right.
do a lot of
That
research on it because it's not like a story I present here on the show. So I don't. That's the difficulty. You know, AI is getting so sophisticated. The more I mess with it, the more I'm impressed, and it's just over the top what it's like. And interesting stuff, of course. You know, you want to keep on top of it. I tell you guys to dig into AI. You know, we've been asking for a long time. We always talk about, you know, how come none of these people are facing the consequences for their actions? How come the deep state isn't getting, you know, the swamp isn't getting drained? How come government gangsters aren't going to jail? You know, we expected a lot of that by now. We thought this administration was going to go all in right out of the gate. But at least we are seeing some of these terrorists. Some of these people from specific groups are starting to face the consequences for what they did, attacking officers. You know, they were using fireworks. A lot of officers got endangered. One got shot in the neck in this particular event. But, you know, you had so many activist judges protecting these scumbags.
Protecting what scumbags? Say the name.
Antifa. The
There you
Antifa
go.
terrorists is where I was leading to. And of course, finally, we're seeing some justice for actions that have endangered citizens, have endangered communities, have really hurt the country. These people committed billions of dollars in damages. They like to talk about J6 in DC. You know, they like to talk about the Fedsurrection. But what about these insurrections? What about these horrible people doing horrible things and never having to really pay any consequences? Many of them got let off already by the judges. But here's a group. They got to be having regrets. And sometimes I like to say regrets because, you know, you've seen that tattoo. You don't want to have regrets for your actions. You got to think about what you're doing. And these people obviously didn't. And here's the price they paid. They're now getting sentenced 50 to 100 years in prison. And this is part of this attack on the Texas ICE detention center. George, I don't know how you felt when you saw this story. You had to be somewhat excited, I think. Tell me your thoughts. Dig in here. I want to hear what you had to say because I, of course, smiled. The big smile went across my face.
I was ecstatic because, you know, this is going to send a message to all you these other little fag-ass Antifa people that, you know, we're not playing around no more. You guys are a terrorist organization. You should be treated like terrorists and throwing the key away. Because all you do is cause mayhem, chaos, looting, burning, all kinds of stupid shit. Hurting police officers, hurting citizens. You do nothing but BS. So, Lance, when we were talking about this, and you said it was funny. He's like, I bet you some of those little twerp Antifa was like, oh, hell no, I'm leaving this group. You know,
Yeah. I imagine the ranks of Antifa just thinned out dramatically. And that's the point.
you can't mess with. First of all, this is Texas where this happened, and you know you can't f around in Texas, man. That's one thing.
Well, you know, my thing is this. You have to do this, right? It's the same thing with the members of Congress. If those people don't face consequences for their actions, if Nancy Pelosi isn't gone after for the bleach, bit, and hammer emails, and if she isn't gone after for insider trading, it just empowers the rest of the congressional members to do it. I mean, listen, even MTG. She waited the 5 years. She got her full retirement, which you know about that. And then she went from having a $600,000-$700,000 net worth on her.
Why do you keep? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You keep bringing up MTG when her and her family had a legitimate construction business where they made a lot of money. But regardless, there's so many of them that do that, and you keep bringing her up.
Well,
I'm just curious to want to know
she's a
why.
Republican that's been in the news lately for $25 million in stock increases in her portfolio during her reign in Congress. I bring her up because specifically I believe she committed insider trading. And my point is that you can't allow one, either Republican or Democrat. We can talk about Pelosi beating Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha.
Let's talk about
talk about somebody on the other side of the aisle. I bring her up.
Elon Omar. Look at her net worth.
No doubt.
Went up, and then all of a sudden she got caught. She's saying it's less now.
I absolutely agree. But do you think anybody should be allowed to insider trade, George? And I'll ask the audience.
No, nobody should be allowed. But you keep singling out MTG, and I'm just curious to know why. That's all.
I'm using her because her stock trading, insider trading, has been in the news. So I use that as a comparison to the Democrats that are doing the same thing. This show goes after both sides of the aisle. You know that. So I bring her up specifically.
But you always bring her up. I just, you know.
When we talk about stock, I bring her up. We talk about stocks, I bring up MPG. So the point is, I don't like it. Application of the law, the rule of law says equally applied. That means the FBI agents, the CIA, the DIA, the NSA that participated in the Fauci cover-up, they should all be facing indictments. That means the people that covered up and participated in J6, all the federal agents, all the Department of Justice, all the judges that attacked those J6ers, they should also be facing federal indictment. I'm saying that this is finally a little resonating call. It's not the one I want, but I'll take it. Now, the ringleader, this guy, you can see him there in the center, the guy with the beard is who he is. This Benjamin Song, he got 100 years. Now, I'm going to tell you something. George, I'm going to ask you a question. Looking at the faces of these individuals, now a lot of them are women, understanding that the men are all going to a USP, because to work your way down from a USP, the sentences they got, they're going to be moved to the highest level of status. How do you think these little twerps are going to do in a USP, George? What's your thoughts?
Why don't you tell everybody what a USP is first, Lance?
Okay, well, the USP is the highest level of Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's where the worst of the worst go. The cartel, assassins, the top big, the head of the gangster disciples, the hot.
Like what prison? Can you name something?
Well, there's tons. There's a bunch of USPs. Like it wouldn't be the Supermax. They wouldn't go to the Supermax necessarily, although they might take the ringleader and put him in the
because
Supermax.
some of them they have them all on lockdown, so they're not like it's like they're be around general population. Depends what prison they're going to.
Well, I would tell you this: normally they don't keep them in. They don't keep them locked down unless there's been a direct threat that they can prove.
I mean, didn't Trump say designate Antifa as a terrorist organization?
He did.
So if you're a terrorist, you ain't going. You're going to somewhere big prison, like where you're locked down 23-1.
Well, the 23.5-hour lockdown is here in Colorado. I don't know what kind of space they've got.
There's a lot of other prisons like that. But go ahead.
No, not in the federal system. There's only one 23.5-hour lockdown that I'm aware of, unless they built new ones.
What about in Illinois, the federal prison there? There's more than just, bro. There's a lot of
the only one I know. Well, George, they hype it up. The only one I really, go ahead and Google it. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead and Google it. Ask how many 23.5-hour lockdown prisons are in the federal system. But the USPs are the worst of the worst. These are the guys that are lifers. They're the guys that are not getting out. So, of course, the rapes, the stabbings, the gang associations. I'm going to tell you that these guys right here that I'm looking at, I think they're in serious trouble. They're going to be somebody's bitch. These 8 people that are found guilty of terrorism-related charges in 2025.
There's a bunch, Lance.
There's a bunch of 23.5 hours. Go ahead and name them.
I'll just name some. There's ADX Florence in Colorado. You have
that's the big one.
FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey, or FCI Otisville in New York.
23.5 hour.
23-1, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. So that's news to me. I appreciate you telling me. I thought there was only the one here, which is the ADX, which is the Supermax, they call it.
Yeah.
Are those called Supermaxes, George, or what are they?
They're just called... Hold on.
I'm interested. I just like to see it. So these were all premeditated attacks.
No, they don't say
one officer
Supermax
got shot in the neck. They were using fireworks, and they're of course, using fireworks can be very dangerous. Big fireworks, of course, they're basically explosives. They were best dressed in body armor. They were using, all kinds of stuff. They were using bear spray. They vandalized federal vehicles. They fired lots of shots at officers. But they were not only convicted on riot charges. They were convicted for providing military support for terrorists, conspiracy to use and carry an explosive, and using and carrying an explosive. 3 counts of attempted murder of an officer, 3 counts of discharging a firearm during a violent crime, corruptly concealing a document, conspiracy to conceal documents. And now, George, I have to pose you a question. Are you ready? I'm going to pose it to the audience. Number one, these groups were very well funded, don't you think so?
Yeah.
They were flown in, they were moved around the country. They went into areas with an organized plan. They had lots of equipment being dropped off. If you remember, the equipment were body armor and face shield helmets, ballistic equipment was dropped off. You would have to say they were very well funded, right, George?
By all means.
Okay. My question for the Department of Justice.
Who's funding them?
For the FBI, and George knows exactly where I'm going, for Donald Trump and the administration. I'm sure these guys all want a downward departure, which is called a 5K1, where you negotiate with the federal government for your assistance to get a better deal, right? Normally, it's because you're a snitch. There are exceptions, but the exceptions are very rare. Like if you saved a police officer's life or something like that while you were being incarcerated, or you stopped something that would have hurt other people, sometimes you'll get it for that, okay? But that's a rare. That's about 3%. My question is, who funded these scumbags? And is the Department of Justice going to give these guys some 5K1 work? And are they going to identify where the money came from? Because we've heard stories about Soros. We've heard stories about Reid Hoffman. We've heard stories about other people funding these organizations, which makes them part of the conspiracy, part of the crime. I want to know when the people that paid for this shit, Donald Trump administration, FBI, and DOJ, I'm talking to you specifically if you're watching the show today, Kash Patel, maybe you're watching. Maybe your girlfriend, Erica's watching. I know she watches sometimes. My question is this. When are you going to go after the heads of the snake? When are these wealthy people that funded this bullshit going to get the same consequences? Because they're the head of the conspiracy. The mens rea, the mental state of the crime, the minute those people thought about giving money to these groups so that they could do this all over the country and they could endanger our citizens, damage our property, and cause billions of dollars, they became co-conspirators. My question is, I see this lineup. These are people that were on the ground. These are boots on the ground people. I don't see any of the big people. I don't see any of the people that funded this garbage. I bet you these people will tell you right away to get a cut on their sentence, 10 years off, whatever. Maybe they go, hell yeah, I'll tell you who did it.
I was just going to say that, Lance. You know, I brought the picture back up.
Take it away.
I brought the picture back up because you look at these people. They ain't built for prison. They're built to be around their friends and all when they're all together and cause chaos. But if they're alone, they ain't going to do shit. That's a lot of these gangs, even street gangs. They're all tough when they're around their boys and girls when they have backup. But put them one-on-one, they ain't shit. And I know that from experience. But so you tell me that none of those kids right here, these Antifa thugs, are not going to sing? Hell, look at their faces. They look scared as hell. Look scared, little baby. Look at the one in the middle, the one with the red hair. She looks like she's ready to start crying. The one on the bottom right, he looks like he's all freaking iced out over there, doing something. Look at his eyes. He's bugging out. Come on, you know they got to be snitching.
They're in serious trouble.
The question is, do they have investigations right now? Which I would say they probably do, into who's funding them and all this stuff. We're not going to know about it because if you do a proper investigation, you're not going to be telling nobody. You'll know when there's an arrest. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Supposed to work. And I hope you're right. It was supposed to work that they were going to clean out the deep state. It was supposed to work that they were going to drain the swamp. It was supposed to be that government gangsters were going to be cleansed. Now, Pulte fired a bunch of people, and they're already freaking out on the Hill about it because he's getting rid of the deep staters that have been leaks, have been sources for congressional members to know what's going on in the inner halls of the intelligence community. But, you know, for you guys in the audience, this is a great day to go out and post and ask Donald Trump in his feed over at True Social. Ask Kash Patel. You know, I saw this story. I was watching the Big Mig. You can say that if you want. And they posed a question that I'd like to pose to you. When are the people that paid for this shit going to face consequences? Because my concern is it seems like these billionaires or these wealthy individuals that are behind the destruction of the country, like George and Alexander Soros, like Reid Hoffman, I feel like they just continue to get a pass because they're billionaires. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, the Zuckerbucks operation, why is he sitting next to Donald Trump? Why is he on committees in D.C.? Bill Gates, a guy that allegedly went to Epstein Island 28 times. Why isn't he even in the halls of D.C.? Why? Because he's wealthy? That doesn't make him not a scumbag. You guys have to ask yourself, why Do these people get a pass? Because I'm going to tell you this, and listen closely. You wouldn't get the pass. George wouldn't get the pass. I wouldn't get the pass. Why? Because I guess we're not billionaires. The question is equal application of the law. And I put this to Todd Blanche. When are you going to go after FBI agents, CIA, NSA, DIA, the dirty 51+8, all the Russian collusion participants? How about Hillary Clinton? Bleach bit and a hammer. How about what she did? How about, like George said the other day, he'd like to know if the Iranians have some of the enriched ore that Hillary Clinton decided to spread around in the Middle East. He had a very good point the other day. Can they test it to find out the source? I wonder if this is the Hillary Clinton uranium. My point is, what about Barack Obama? What about his birth certificate? What about the truth there? See, that's the thing. We've heard these stories. We've seen the exposure. We've seen a lot of compelling evidence. Again, these are just allegations. But the question is, if they're not just allegations, Todd Blanche, when are you going to do something? When are people going to get snatched up out of their residences like what happened to Roger Stone for the fake Russian collusion hoax at 3 a.m.? And as a matter of fact, when is Roger Stone's case just going to get dismissed with prejudice? And he's going to get a vacatur and a certificate of innocence. Same thing for Mike Flynn. Why should they have to have a presidential pardon? Presidential pardon says you have to admit guilt. Why aren't those cases wiped out, and why aren't they given major financial claims? Because, of course, the Department of Justice continues to hide. They hide from accountability. They never eat their own. When are these prosecutors that eavesdropped on legal phone calls all across the country, and probably still doing so with the Securus Technologies leak, when are they going to get arrested? Fafo is exactly right. George's shirt is a call out. George, you know me. I could go on forever on this topic.
I know you can.
Tell me your thoughts.
I can't wait to see when they do start arresting these people, the money behind it and stuff, because we know there's Soros money behind it and all these other people. You know, I know investigations take long. The government works in two paces, slow and stop. So whatever, we just have to be patient and wait. But Lance, I want to transition to something because I did something and you fucker did not notice because you asked for this the other day.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm in the doghouse.
You're always in the doghouse, but really you're in the shit house now. And I've given you this whole segment. I was waiting. I said, let me see if he says something.
I saw the hair.
You didn't say nothing.
I
did it slick back for you because you asked for it the other day.
Wait a minute. I saw it.
I don't care what you can say. You saw it, but you never commented.
No, but you know why I didn't comment?
No. I don't want. We don't know. The audience does not want to know why. They're all saying, Lance.
I'm going to tell the audience.
They're shaking their head.
I should be able to defend myself.
Lance.
There's a reason I didn't say.
There is no defense.
There is a defense, and you're going to admit that it's a defense.
There is no defense.
Are you ready for the defense?
Nope.
I think it looks good.
La.
Okay. Well, for the audience, you tell me the defense. George came in this morning and he had some stuff going on. Rumble was a problem.
No.
You were frazzled. You were frazzled.
No, not before the show either. No.
You were a little frazzled. And when George is frazzled, I try not to do things that I think are like too engaging because I know he needs time to fix things. And he's very good at it. And I'm lucky to have him as not only my friend, but as my co-host on the show. You know, he's the ultimate partner because he fixes things when I don't even know about it, which he puts out fires that I don't know about. And I would talk about him even if he wasn't here like this. The point is this, that when you're like that, I try not to do too much personal engagement because I know you're like, well, just hang on, Lance, just take the mic. When you get like that, I know you're doing something that's important, and I try not to overload you. I like your hair like that. I think it looks good. I mean, it's a change of pace. You know what I mean? You got a little bit of that OG gangster going on. You should have come on with the shark skin suit today. You know, you could have thrown that on. And wear the pinky ring. You got to throw the pinky ring.
You know what? I don't wear rings. I don't wear jewelry. My hands are too big, and you know,
have some big ass hands.
So I learned though, and people are like, "Why don't you wear jewelry?" Because if ever you have to defend yourself or fight, jewelry and stuff can get caught on stuff. Sorry,
I have a difference of opinion on jewelry.
Rings. I mean, I could put a set of brass knuckles on, but my fingers they're just big. I don't know.
I have a difference of opinion. I think jewelry can also be used to defend yourself in cases. So,
if you got a bracelet on or watch and it gets caught on something, what do you mean?
Well, normally bracelets they'll come right off because of course they're not made to be pulled on
but,
something.
Okay, but all it takes is a second. All it takes is get caught and give you and snag your movement for a second, and you know how it goes.
You know, I used to teach classes about using, objects around you, to contractors and to guys that were special operators. And there's always stuff around you. And you'd be surprised what can be used as a weapon that on your person or otherwise, even if you get caught in a situation where you don't have your everyday carry. So I have a different opinion, but everybody's got their own style. You got to go with what you feel comfortable with. All right, let's talk about more vandals. Here's a video that's been released of suspected vandals destroying the lining of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. For everybody out there destroying national monuments, doing stuff in national parks, doing stuff on government grounds, it gives you 100% jurisdiction. And that's the thing about, U.S. owned properties. I have to tell you, this is ugly what's going on here. And these people are going to get hammered when they get caught. And I have to believe because Donald Trump is so pissed off that none of them are going to get away with this. So, George, tell me what's going on here.
So they're actually, they started yesterday putting a temporary fence around the reflecting pool to protect it from the vandals and stuff while they figure out what they're going to do to fix it and stuff. I mean, I still don't get, like, whatever they use to seal it, that it would peel like that. If you use, I don't know if people you're familiar with this or not, but if you use a good sealer, it's not going to just peel up. I mean, maybe they should use, like, some kind of bonding agent, better bonding agent. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it, but, now they're going to have to drain it, but clean it. But even so, like, do they even have a filtration system set up in there? Because if you just have stagnant, if you just have water in a pond in there, it's going to get dirty and stuff. So you need something to move the water around to circulate it and clean it. You need stuff like, I don't know if they have that stuff, but if they're just going to reseal it and put water, you're going to get the same issues as far as algae and stuff, because algae is just going to be there. It's part of nature.
You know what else is really bad for these people, which I love? I mean, I don't love what happened. The woodland ducks. That's a protected species. And ducklings died because of the chemicals they put in the water. It killed the ducklings. Well, you just committed another crime, killing a protected species. That's 10 years plus. The sentences these people are going to hit for just acting like a bunch of assholes. And I guess there was George, is this right? There was 270-foot blade cuts. So that means they got in there and they kind of just swam along and cut the entire thing along the bottom.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is so freaking hateful. And I have to tell you that this kind of stuff is what's destroying the country from within. And this is the fault of all the people that go out publicly, all the news shows, all the shows like The View, all the people in DC that have this derangement, this TDS thing where they're constantly saying things about Donald Trump, whether they're posting to kill Donald Trump in the sand or they're doing this kind of stuff. It's all compelled that, the mental health crisis in the United States is massive, and you're compelling those people. I guess you got a clip, George, from Fox News.
I do, but if it was any other president, even another Republican president, people wouldn't be acting like this. I mean, you people are stupid. This is a monument. This is for everybody to enjoy, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, a constitutional conservative, I don't know, an independent, or for whatever. It's for everybody to enjoy. It's our history. But you only want to destroy it because a man named Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, decided to fix it, try to fix it the right way. This way we don't have to keep going through this BS of, getting dirty. Make things more aesthetically and beautifully looking, but only because his name is Trump. That's how deranged you people are. I hope they throw the book at the vandals too for this shit. Really. They should. Make an example. All right, here we go.
But the left, party poopers. And Primetime's got the tapes. The Department of Interior gave us a look at individuals suspected of vandalizing the reflecting pool. Now, we haven't been able to verify the video, but take a look. June 19th, a male, blue shirt, reaches in, stays there for a little while. He goes back down, comes back up multiple times. What's he doing? Then a female, white tote bag. She reaches in, needs a better angle, sets the bag down, dives in a little deeper. And we don't know who these people are. No one was stopped or questioned by police, so no arrests. And we don't have the police report yet. But what are they doing with their hands in the pool? Are they cutting the lining? Are they peeling off the paint? And we don't know if they're committing a crime. they'll probably tell you they dropped their wedding ring. The Department of Interior says this, quote, "In the video, you're seeing two suspects observed destroying and removing a piece of the lining and attempting destruction of the lining. This incident took place on June 19, 2026, and we are investigating. Destroying, injuring, defacing, or removing cultural or architectural resources is a federal crime." The media, who's been covering liberals destroying public property for decades, believe that reflecting pools off limits. They've toppled statues of our founders, spray-painted monuments, burned the church outside the White House, but they think Trump was the one who destroyed the reflecting pool.
Check this out. That American flag blue paint, it's peeling away. The $14 million job to redo the bottom of this reflecting pool is falling apart before our eyes. The algae is still here, but the paint appears to be going away.
Maybe the contractors screwed up the pool, and they're fixing it. But we have a hunch there was also foul play. And we could be wrong, but we're seeing preliminary reports alleging vandalism. Incident 1, June 9th. A week after they started filling it with water, the report says someone slashed a 20-foot section of the liner overnight. Razor blade slashes. The New York Times described them as two 171-foot blade cuts. They also ripped the fence tops off and threw them into the pool. Then, June 19th, a witness watched a man record himself on his phone while ripping the liner with his bare hands. A Park Service employee told him to stop. He said they were, quote, awfully sensitive about the pool and kept going. The National Guard had to physically stop him. When they searched him, his hands and gloves were wet. He was charged with 4 counts. Turns out that suspect is the Olympian, the guy he showed you last night, the canoer, who says he did nothing wrong.
I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, so I had no reason to think I was going to be arrested, but I suggested we walk over toward the park police rather than waiting for them to come to us, and went over and furnished my ID, and kind of before I knew it, I was being handcuffed, and realized I was being arrested.
He's a longtime Democrat donor. Gave money to Obama and Act Blue. Arrested by park police once before, back in '96. And now he has a GoFundMe and a lawyer who just happened to have prosecuted Trump in the first impeachment.
This is a meritless prosecution. We will get into all the details in court. Every American should be concerned about this kind of thing. He's a cyclist who was going by a concerned citizen, curious, so what happened, as Americans are about this mess.
He's just a curious cyclist? Well, the police report says otherwise.
A curious cyclist. Yeah. He looked kind of like a leftard. What was with that hairdo? All right, well, here's the deal.
A libtard, you mean?
Yeah. I said leftard. I kind of threw that in there as a play on words. But here's the thing. Accountability, transparency and consequences. That's all I ever voted for. All these people that are trying to destroy the country from within, because division and chaos is a tool they use against all of us. They don't want Republicans and Democrats to agree on anything. They're supposed to probably differentiate those two, right? But, not the far, far left or the far, far right. We agree with a lot of stuff. Safety and security, low inflation, country that's successful, leadership that does the right thing and doesn't steal from the American people. That's it. It's educating and unifying the country one episode at a time. Big Mig Show's got to take a short break with George, Superman, Ballantine, Lance Migliaccio, Edge of the Knife. We're here. FAFO, baby. It's how we do it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Because you know what? George will come and find you. He'll use the internet. He'll track your IP. Next thing you know, he's banging on your door.
I'd rather just somebody voluntarily give me their information. I just come visit them. We'll be right back.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA, the future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
In a world of uncertainty, be prepared with Silver Prepper Bars, your ultimate hedge against political instability and economic turmoil. Introducing the Silver Prepper Bar, crafted from 0.999 pure silver and proudly made in the USA. This tangible, divisible asset can come in handy even in the toughest of times. Portable, perforated, and easily tradable, the Silver Prepper Bar is your lifeline in times of crisis. When facing inflation, currency devaluation, and financial meltdown, Silver Prepper Bars provide peace of mind. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Secure your future today with the exclusive Silver Prepper Bar, the only silver bar on the market divisible into 3 different size pieces for maximum utility, all while fitting in your wallet. Don't leave your future to chance. Order your Silver Prepper Bars now at prepperbar.com. Silver Prepper Bars, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Order now.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on earth, these canine units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit warriordogfoundation.org.
All right, welcome back to the Big Mig Show. Here with your host, Lance Migliaccio, slick back George Ballantine right here. Big Mig Mafia in the chat. You know, Uncle Cracker, what's up? You're new. Nice to see you in there in the chat. What else we got going on? There's another one. Too big for bike. A lot of great comments coming from you too. Welcome to the show and chat. Anybody out there listening, watching, come join the chat. Give you a little shout out. Always try to do it. Where's my Ultra Maga Girl 45? Yo, what up? Sherry, New Jersey Cat, Craig Muttley, Renee, Abby, US Abby Girl, Skunk. Oh my lovely patriots. But hit that thumbs up button, like, follow, share, subscribe if you can. Anything you could do, we appreciate your support. Every little bit helps. However, Lance and we're going to give you a little perfect solution for the people that can't watch their crypto 24/7. Talking about Block Trust IRA. They're bringing access to cryptocurrency wealth to everyday people. Their exclusive Animus AI trading platform works 24/7, analyzing market data and executing advanced crypto strategies that go far beyond buy and hold. This sophisticated technology, once reserved only for Wall Street insiders, but now it's available to you. And this system was named #1 crypto technology platform by Bitcoin Magazine out of more than 1,500 global competitors. Clients are already seeing over 250% returns on their investments, all with military-grade security and up to $200 million insurance. Your wealth is fully protected, so don't wait. Visit BigMigCrypto.com today and see how you can join this financial revolution. Once again, visit BigMigCrypto.com and you can get up to $2,500 of free crypto. QR codes right here on the screen, links in the chat, links in the more section under the video. We got you covered. All you got to do is go there, but go there afterwards, because we got a lot of shit to expose right now. And, you know, the fraud in this country, and there's fraud in every state. So if anybody wants to comment when I take these little clips saying, oh, you're only talking about liberal stuff. Well, a lot of the majority of fraud is in liberal states. However, there's fraud in every state. So I don't want to hear crap. But AG Blanche is announcing they're charging charges, listen to this, against 455 defendants across 45 states. There you go. And territories for healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other programs. That's just the tip of the iceberg right there. That's a little piece. Small. That's nothing, right, Lance? I mean, the fraud is just...
I think that this fraud is hundreds of billions of dollars in the last decade, hundreds of billions. And I think a lot of these individuals, we're going to find out if we gave them a demographic kind of a, created a grid. I would bet that 60, 70, 80% of them are illegal immigrants or are people that came to this country, even legally. They're foreign adversaries, foreign, inserts. And I think they recognize, because a lot of this, like the Somalians work in clans and they talk a lot in their families. They're all raving about, I'm driving a Ferrari or I'm driving this car. I'm living like this. You need to come over here. I can help you set up your own Leering Center. I think they've educated each other on the fraud. And I think the fraud is spread generationally and familia all across, relatives, all the rest of this. If this really gets networked and if they really do what they need to do, it'll be hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. And the thing that sucks is the people that are on Medicaid and Medicare. They could have had better services. They could have had better lives. Your grandparents, your parents that are on limited amounts of money, the people that really needed PPP, the people that really need SNAP benefits, all those programs could have been better. They could have provided more services and helped Americans that really needed it. But these are the worst of the worst. They're doing this, and I have to tell you, they need an AI program to surveil the entire system. If they took all the data and they ran it through a company like Solem.global, I can tell you that Solem Global could identify probably almost 90% or better of all the fraud in the United States. And I guarantee if they did, we're talking about hundreds of billions. Let's play the clip, George.
Hold on. So you see all these, especially Democrats, they want to give, free health care for everybody. They keep talking that thing. Well, guess what? If you actually got off your asses, you politicians, and helped get rid of all this fraud, then look how much more health care there'll be for the Americans, that people that need it.
Bingo.
There you go. Pretty much simple.
Yeah.
Stupid politicians.
Today we are announcing federal and state charges, all of which were charged or unsealed at some point over the past 2 weeks, the past 14 days. Coordinated nationwide action. Since June 8th, we've charged 455 defendants across 56, like I said a minute ago, U.S. attorney's offices, and 45 U.S. states and territories. As alleged in the various indictments, these individuals participated in healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. The team around me will get into more specifics, but here are a few points that stand out. In one indictment, we're bringing charges against a corporate executive in Arizona in connection to over a $1 billion fraud involving unnecessary wound grafts. This alleged scheme cost Medicare over $1 million per patient. In total, our indictment charges 11 defendants for over $2 billion in fraudulent claims in connection to alleged wound care schemes. The indictment also alleges that these individuals then used the taxpayer money to bankroll multi-million-dollar homes, luxury vehicles like a $135,000 Maserati, jewelry like an $865,000 Bulgari necklace, and to top it all off, to fund the construction of a $4.6 million hotel at a beach resort in the Philippines. We're taking back the money, the luxury cars, the jewelry, and these alleged fraudsters will face justice. The coordinated actions of the past 2 weeks have resulted in over $182 million in cash and other assets seized, making clear our healthcare fraud enforcement efforts generate a significant return on investment for our taxpayers.
For our taxpayers.
I love that Todd Blanche is doing that. I'd like to see all the money clawed back. I'd like to see all the seizures. Of course, a lot of this money's been sent out of the country. We heard about Minneapolis where they were taking out pieces of luggage with millions and millions of dollars in it. It's the kind of thing that would have got a red flag on any other American. And they took it back to Somalia. I'd like to see clawbacks from all those bank accounts. I'm going to tell you, this is just a tip of the iceberg.
Well, listen to this.
This fraud is rampant.
I mean, listen, there's more. Listen to this lady. Here's a nurse practitioner. This is fucking like sick. She's accused of billing Medicaid for almost $1 billion in skin substitute allografts. She was actually using human beings, American citizens, and for what? And then he goes on saying as living piggy banks. She took all that money. She bought a $865,000 necklace, but they seized it. A bunch of whole shit. But just listen to this shit. People are freaking. What I love to do to some of these fraud people. Can't say it. You guys have put me away forever.
The president said he wanted a whole of government approach to combating healthcare fraud and fraud across all our benefits programs, and this is the result. Every major leader in this space from the federal government is standing up here, and all have contributed in critically important ways to this effort. Investigators, prosecutors, healthcare specialists, the leadership at HHS and at CMS have made today possible. I also want to thank Jake Foster and his team, Justin Woodward and Becca Uya at DOJ at the healthcare fraud unit that has broken records with today's effort, not just in their own prosecutions, but in harnessing the power of the U.S. attorneys and state attorneys general to make today possible. The vice president has always said we have to take a two-pronged approach to this. We have to stop the money from getting out of the agencies. Administrator Oz and Secretary Kennedy have talked about that. And then we have to impose consequences on people that have defrauded the American government. And we've been saying that we're doing this to save these programs from the fraud that is bleeding them dry, that will make them unavailable in the future for future generations, to protect the investment, the trillions of dollars of investment that every American taxpayer makes every single year to help their friends, their neighbors, and strangers in times of need. But I also, like Dr. Oz, I want to talk about the real human toll of this for a minute. I want to talk about skin substitutes or allografts. 5 years ago, Medicare was paying out less than $1 billion every year in allografts and skin substitutes. By 2025, almost $15 billion. These programs were riddled with fraud. And yes, that's a problem because it takes money out of all of our pockets and puts it into the hands of the worst people on the planet. But this doesn't just affect all of us. These frauds affect individual American citizens in horrifying ways. We saw this, for example, in Minnesota, where a program designed to protect veterans from homelessness was so attacked by fraudsters, they had to shut the thing down because they couldn't afford it anymore. I want to talk about a particular case that the department is indicted today out of the District of Nevada, where a nurse practitioner is accused of having bilked Medicaid for almost $1 billion in skin substitute allografts. But this isn't just filing fake claims and trying to take money out of our pockets. She was performing these skin substitute procedures on vulnerable elderly Americans in hospices and in nursing homes, and then submitting those claims. She was using human beings, American citizens, as living piggy banks, and that she took the money she got from those living piggy banks and she bought $865,000 necklaces that the department seized. She bought a almost $500,000 Ferrari that the department also seized. We've heard a lot about the numbers today. We've heard how many records have been broken by the Department of Justice's and HHS's incredible efforts today. But the numbers shouldn't be treated as an abstraction. This doesn't just affect the whole country as taxpayers. Real human beings, American citizens, are physically maimed because of this fraud. So shutting down this fraud, killing these incentives for people to commit fraud, putting people in jail to commit these frauds, aren't just about protecting the fisc. They're not just about protecting the program. They are about protecting our fellow American citizens from the worst of us. That is why this is so important. That's why the vice president assembled this task force at the president's direction. And this is the result. The entire federal government deploying all of its resources at home and abroad to end the fraud and to protect American citizens.
But wait, there's more. Think it stops there. Dr. Oz comes on now, revealing that, and I've I've said California is the biggest scam of every state, and when they find out all the true numbers, it's going to be crazy. But he's saying, Dr. Oz, 80% of Medicare fraud payment suspensions came from California. That's right. Governor Gavin Newsom's state is allowing all this fraud, and he's going to run for president. Imagine if he wins. Oh my God. It's crazy. I'm just going to play the clip because
two really important ones. The first is in the first quarter of last year, we revoked billing privileges for fraudsters of 106 providers. Pretty good result, we thought, at the time. This same period this year, the first quarter, we made 1,400 revocations. That's a 40% increase over last year. So 40% more revocations. We also have payment suspensions where we just don't pay the bill because we don't think it's legitimate. And this is impressive. The first half of this year, we made 1,000 Medicare payment suspensions. 1,000. That's a lot of people. Nearly 800, by the way, from one state, California. For a similar period last year, we made 219 suspensions. So a fivefold, 500% increase in payment suspensions because we're using tools now that historically had been used marginally. Now, these efforts brand all kinds of new tools for Medicare and Medicaid. The fraud war room that has been put together is a purpose-built tool to identify, track, and neutralize bad actors, often from foreign countries, much more effectively than the old system. The formula is straightforward. The DOJ brings a prosecutorial firepower, law enforcement brings investigative tools, CMS brings data, the analytics. We use administrative muscle to push things through, and we are closing loopholes that fraudsters have avoided and been exploiting for years. Those days are over. Fraudsters, your time is up. Now, speaking of fraudsters, I want to highlight an important case that drives home what everyone on the stage.
Fraudsters. You think it would stop there, right, people? No. We got more. Because federal agents just busted a $27 million hospice fraud ring. Guess where?
Let me guess. California.
L.A., yep. I almost want to go to California, just open in one of these businesses and see if we get away with
like
it.
She's Chinese.
Whatever. They're fraud. How did they not? The question is, what's mind-boggling is either they just don't pay attention to systems or they just let it happen. I mean, they're getting a cut of this somehow. I mean, you got to start following the money on all these people's accounts, see if they're sending money to any of these people working in the government. There's got to be a trail somewhere. Something's got to be going on. I mean, are they this stupid, these people working in these government positions? Possibly. I'd probably say yeah anyway, but look at this shit. Should have dragged her ass. Deny her bail so she can't escape. Go back to her country.
I'd like them to keep track of where these people are from. Were they always U.S. citizens? Did they immigrate here? I'd like to see the statistics on this. I think it's going to be pretty ugly.
All right, so
George,
we got a win from
yeah, I was about to
from
say
the court.
that.
Of course, it's the Supreme Court because every little thing that these liberals take to these judges in the lower courts, they side with the liberals, and we got to just waste time, money, and our efforts to just prove them wrong, go to SCOTUS. It is what it is, but SCOTUS ruled in a 6-3 decision that Trump administration, they're allowing the Department of Homeland Security to treat green card holders, lawful permanent residents as seeking admission and strip or suspend their legal status when they leave the country and attempt to return to the U.S. while facing criminal charges. Okay. You know, usually anybody that has a green card or that status, if you get caught doing a crime, you can automatically lose that status if you're convicted. So, but, you know, liberals want to fight that. Play it.
News from Fox News correspondent Bill Malugin stating that in a 6-3 decision, SCOTUS rules that DHS can strip green card holders and lawful permanent residents of their legal status if they leave the country and travel abroad while they are facing criminal charges, even if they are just pending and not convicted yet. So a little bit more information from the Associated Press as the Supreme Court has sided with the Trump administration in an immigration case dealing with the government's power over green card holders accused of crime. So this was a 6-3 decision. And this decision centers around an immigration officer's 2012 decision to put lawful permanent resident, one of them, on immigration parole when he returned from a short trip to China because he had been accused of a counterfeiting crime. So this defendant argued that overstepped the officer's authority, and the decision wrongly allowed the Department of Homeland Security to begin deportation proceedings after he pleaded guilty to selling counterfeit clothes in New Jersey. Well, the High Court disagreed, stating, this is an opinion written by Justice Clarence Thomas, quote, border officers did not have the burden to establish by clear and convincing evidence that Lau, the defendant, had committed a crime involving moral turpitude. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson disagreed, writing that the decision put Lau on immigration parole effectively, sentencing him to immigration limbo before he had been convicted of any crime.
Yep. Oh, well. But I see people talking about something about AI in the chat. Well, this next one is going to be a little surprising. Lance, you going to tell them about it?
Yeah, I am. Again, we talk about AI a lot on this show. We talk about the positive parts of AI, but there's also a negative side of it where people are going to take advantage of people with it. And a lawsuit has just been filed, and this is horrible. George, you and I actually had a discussion about this maybe, I don't know, 60 days ago. And we were talking about when the Iran invasion happened, how come the price at the pumps went up so very quickly, meaning that the gas that was in the pumps was under the lower prices. So why did the prices jump instantly when in fact that gas or that oil was at the cheaper level?
I could tell you why.
I know why.
No. You don't know why, because I used to own a gas station. I can tell you why. When you bought gas and you have a gas station in the ground and the prices go up, well, you need to make that difference in order to purchase that gas at a higher price. That's why. 100%. Well, anyway, this is going back from 80s, 90s, 2000s. It's been going since inception of gas stations. My dad used to own gas stations.
Contends that they're price fixing. California drivers say companies are using AI to coordinate inflated prices at the pump. So a group of California drivers says gas prices didn't just creep up, they were pushed there by algorithms. Now, this is a proposed class action lawsuit filed in federal court in Sacramento. And these motors are accusing major operators, including BP, Circle K, Marathon, 7-Eleven, Walmart, Albertsons, and software firm Calibrate of using an AI-based pricing tool to align prices and undercut competition in violation of state antitrust laws, federal antitrust laws. This is coming directly out of Reuters. California already had the nation's highest average price of gas at $5.58 a gallon. But drivers say the companies are trying to wring more money from the pockets of consumers by unfairly using AI software to do it. So I guess this software draws on competitors' data to push pump prices artificially high, adding up to 30 cents or more per gallon in areas where it's widely used and contributing to regular gas prices topping $7 in some spots. I guess the lawsuit finds footing in the California as Assembly Bill 325, which took effect January 1st, targeting pricing algorithms that use competitor data to recommend, align, and stabilize set or otherwise price fix, influence, or price or commercial terms. Now, it's ugly. It's unfair. It's unreasonable. But this is what they're doing to people because, again, why do they do it? Because they've been getting away with it. They've been doing it for decades. Price fixing is nothing new. But now they're taking the most innovative computer software and using AI as a weapon against you at the pumps.
Well, so a gas station owner can charge whatever he wants for gas. Doesn't mean you have to go there and buy it. So all these, when the way it goes is you have the barrel of oil. If it's let's say $50, right? If it goes up, I don't know, $60, and all the prices are going to go up across the board. So then everybody raises, and usually they lower when things lower. Because if you don't lower, but your competition lowers, and people are going to go there. But in all reality, a gas station can charge whatever they want for a gallon of gas. But usually these big names, they have contracts with the big oil companies like Shell, BP, where they have to stay within a range. So, but if they're price gouging this and that, that's some of these, there's crooked freaking business owners. But you ain't going to stay in competition that long unless they're all in that area doing it together. They have, they're behind closed doors. They're, let's just raise the price or whatever they're doing. So it's touchy. 420 here in New York.
Well, this next story put a smile on my face. Maybe these people are watching the Big Mig show. You heard me talk about it yesterday that maybe congressional members, state and federal, need to face the consequences of their actions on the street. I'm not talking about attacking them. I'm talking about cutting off their services. No more dry cleaning, no more restaurants, no more cell service, no more deliveries from Amazon. Just stop it dead in their tracks. Don't give them anything. Don't pick up their trash. Don't mow their lawns because they're not doing the job you hired them to do. And this cafe, my hands are off to them. This is Brooklyn's Poetica Cafe, coffee shop. And they don't want Democrat Dan Goldman visiting due to his stance on Israel. Now, Israel or otherwise, I love the fact that this coffee shop took a stand. So this Brooklyn coffee shop that touts radical hospitality just drew a federal civil rights probe after telling a New York congressman he's not welcome. Well, why should there be a civil rights probe? As a business owner, you can refuse service to anyone. Of course, that's the attack. Now they're going to hit him with a civil rights probe. I guess the coffee posted an apparent surveillance still of Democrat, a surveillance still. How about just a security camera, Phil, of Representative Dan Goldman during his Sunday visit to the cafe on Instagram and blasted him over his support for Israel, saying it doesn't serve a genocide enabler and that its coffee doesn't taste like genocide juice.
Well,
Post claimed the shop had refused Goldman's purchase, telling him to enjoy your loss on Tuesday, a reference to the Democrat primary Goldman is competing in.
He lost. He lost to a socialist. He lost to a socialist yesterday. He's out.
Yeah.
So now we have a instead of him, we have a socialist that won that primary. So lesser of the two evils. Which one?
I agree with you. I'm not saying that was the best solution, but these guys have to pay for the consequences of their actions. And when you have a federal government that doesn't really use the oversight, doesn't use the accountability, doesn't make the arrests, doesn't indict people for their crimes, I think the American people have to take it in hand. Not only is it at the polls, I think these people have to suffer the consequences of their actions. They shouldn't get anything. No groceries, no nothing, no deliveries. Let them go into a black hole. And as I've said many times before, maybe it's time to just fence off New York. Let's go to escape to New York mode. Let's dump all these political activists, all these congressional members, all these, criminals in our own agencies. So I'll just dump them all in there and let them live their lives in a sealed off quadrant of nothing but them dealing with each other. Because again, I'm not suggesting violence. I'm saying passive, no service. Don't come here anymore. We don't want your business. So for all you people out there, if you've got any congressional members coming to your businesses, maybe it's time to tell them to fuck off. Maybe it's time to just say no. Maybe that's the new campaign we need to have. No more service for any of them. Stop giving them anything. They can just shrivel up and go away because they shouldn't be allowed to walk on the street with what they're doing in this country. The Medicare and Medicaid fraud ought to be enough just to say, Congress, we're firing all 535 of you and you can reapply for your jobs. Because they're the ones that allowed it. They're the ones that borrowed 2.7 or 2.8 trillion from your Social Security unlawfully and have no plan to repay it. I'm saying enough's enough, line in the sand. And I love what these guys did. I may not agree with all the policies of this coffee shop, but I know this. They took a stand and they're trying to make a difference. And I got to say, I give a round of applause, whether they're Democrats, nonpartisan, socialists, I don't care. All right, George, any comments on that?
Look, stop serving them all. If you're going to, you're not going to serve one, you better not serve all of them then. Don't just do it to him, do it to all of them. But, listen, 4 socialists won yesterday in New York, and mostly by the city area. That's a problem because you got them, right? You got the mayor socialist. You got AOC socialist. Oh, my God. Shit's going to fucking... I just... People over there, anywhere, picking socialists, you're dumb. I mean, just look at Venezuela as an example.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't work. Look at any of the socialists. Go talk to people coming from those countries. I mean, don't believe us. Talk to them. Get it from them. They'll tell you. People believe anything because the socialist is going to tell you, oh, you should have free this, free that, free that. There ain't nothing in this fucking world that is free. Nothing.
100%.
Someone's paying for it. You want to talk about free healthcare? Go to Canada, see how their healthcare is. See how long you got to wait to see a special doctor. See how long you got to wait to get an x-ray. Same thing in Israel. Israel's got that healthcare for everybody. You know how long you got to wait to get a freaking x-ray? And I know a person had cancer. They had to wait like 5 months just to get an x-ray. 5 months and they had cancer.
Yeah.
That person's not alive anymore, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear that.
I mean, you people are just freaking dumb believing that shit. Yeah. Sounds good on paper, right? Yeah, that's what you got to do. All these people that want stuff, send them to these other countries. Let them live there for a while. Let them see how it really is. You're the people that if I tell you the stove is hot, you got to touch the stove to know it's hot. A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from others' mistakes. Become the wise man.
Exactly. All right, we covered a story yesterday about Tesla and this crash killing this 73 or I think 83 or 93-year-old woman. I guess this guy, I don't know how he did it. I'm not sure. So this autopilot program where that car drove into that house, we showed you the video. We wanted to follow up and give you the information. Somehow this guy overrode self-driving mode.
You don't have to be on. You have a choice. It's your choice as a driver to be on self-driving mode or driving mode.
Yeah. Well, he was blaming the driving mode, the self-driving mode.
I wonder, was he blaming it, thinking he's trying to get a lawsuit though, or something?
Maybe.
Maybe.
So the initial report suggested that law enforcement was investigating the driver's claim that he was in autopilot mode at the time of the crash. This is 44-year-old Michael Butler, and he did not initially face charges. However, Tesla founder and CEO Elon Musk said the claim that the car was in autopilot makes no sense as Tesla's full self-driving feature drives slowly through neighborhood streets, and this was a high-speed crash. So the director of Tesla's autopilot software, Ashok Elaswamy, and vice president of artificial intelligence replied saying, yup, in this case, the driver manually overrode self-driving by pressing the accelerator all the way to 100% of the accel pedal in the residential neighborhood, reached a speed of 73 miles an hour during the crash, and had the accelerator pressed even after the crash. So it turns out, for everybody out there that wanted to hate on Tesla, they went, oh, look at Tesla. They all wanted to drive it. Well, guess what? This guy's in serious trouble because not only did he lie in law enforcement, now he's committed a homicide. I'm sure George is right. He was probably trying to get himself a big fat payday. Now he's going to get a big fat prison sentence.
All the Tesla cars or any of those with those features, they have the data. You don't think Tesla's going to have the data and what was going on in that car? Of course they do. Matter of fact, even non-self-driving cars, they have data. You get in an accident, they can look into the box of the car, regular car, any car, and know how fast you're going, if you broke, when did you brake, and this and that. It's all there. So, unfortunately, I mean, I don't know what the hell this guy is thinking. I have to figure that. That's going to be, police are definitely now going to look into it and probably give him charges. But, yep.
All right.
I forgot to put the medium for this.
We saw this. We're thinking about changing this to the show.
Don't do it.
Everyone should be a little gay. You guys tell us if you think that should be one of our new show themes here. But this middle school teacher who's teaching your kids decided that grooming was the option, and of course, breaking policies. He was pushing LGBTQ plus on 11-year-old children. And why? Because he said, well, everybody should be a little gay. O'Keefe Media Group, a Las Vegas middle school teacher they caught him. This is, again, great work by O'Keefe and them. But this is propaganda. It's grooming. And it wasn't even approved, even in a place like Las Vegas. It goes on and on and on. I'm starting to wonder if we don't need some kind of AI monitoring in classrooms all across the nation. The fact that the teacher who goes by MX, which I right away would have fired this guy, also admitted to condemning black MAGA kids and lashed out at parents for not being supportive of their queer kids. I've had kids ask me, coach them on coming out as queer. This is what he told the undercover OMG journalist. He admitted to breaking the law by calling the kids by their preferred pronouns. I break the law and CCSD policies and still call kids what they want me to call them, he said. The kids, come out as queer, and I'm like, awesome. They know I'm queer. This is freaking creepy and it's horrible. And it's going on in all the schools across the nation. That's why homeschooling is such a priority. You can't just assume that these teachers are doing the right thing because there are a lot of slime bags teaching our children and grooming them. George, I guess you got the clip here, huh?
Yeah, so I cut out all the commentary. It just took like 2 minutes of it because it's a long clip, but just to give you guys the basis of it. But, you know, you're sending your kids to school, I mean, you might want to send them with some kind of hidden camera that the kid don't even know about on your kid.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Are you pushing it on them? Yes, absolutely. Everyone should be a little gay. There are a lot of students who are exploring gender, but they're also 12. Now, do I break the law and still call kids what they want me to call them? Yes. But I also have to have the conversation of, what do I use when I have to email home? Or what do I use with parents? Parents are insane, right?
A middle school teacher claims everyone should be a little gay.
Do you encourage them to lean into their sexuality and kind of explore that?
Like they come out and I'm like, awesome. I've had kids ask me coach them on coming out. Some parents are not supportive and therefore kids are not open with them about, hey, here's what I'm feeling or thinking. Then they're pissed like, you should have told me my child was doing this. I have the right to know what is going on with my child. If you had a better relationship with your child, they would trust you to tell you. But for some reason, they don't. Figure out how you can better support your kid. Don't come after me because I support them. I had one school year, one group of kids where every week they voted on what color my eyeshadow was going to be on Friday.
Oh my God.
So they'd be like, all right, you're wearing blue glitter. I'm like, cool, got it. So I have them make a about me banner. At the bottom there is just giant MAGA letters.
No way.
And two of them were black kids. And I'm like, why are you MAGA kids when you, okay. Now when I meet the parents, I'm like, that tracks. It's not going to impact my behavior interacting with you. But I will talk shit about you to my coworker. But I've been at my current school for 4 years. I'll probably be locked in there for a while. I teach English, but also theater. And so I'm building the theater program from nothing.
What made you want to get into teaching?
Kind of always wanted to do it. There's the really cheesy, as a queer kid, I needed a queer adult, wanting to be that for other kids, help that thing. But also I just love English. I teach English mostly and dabble in teaching theater. And it just so happens that a lot of people who are good with kids and do those things are also usually queer.
This shit needs to stop. I mean, what the fuck? Are you serious about this stuff? It's not because I'm against homosexuality. Everybody deserves to be happy. I'm not making those people's choices, and I'm not attacking them for it. But stop with the grooming of kids, man. You're not their parents. Stop this garbage in all the schools. I think it's time to insert AI in every classroom as an eavesdropping. And when somebody violates the law or violates the terms of their agreement, they should be terminated.
You know what's going to some of these little private charter schools where there's younger kids involved. They have cameras in the classroom where parents can log into those cameras and see. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have to put cameras in every classroom, unfortunately, and be able to monitor what's going on.
And you got to be, George, the amount of time it takes to monitor. That's why I say let's AI surf for all the wrong catchphrases. Here's a guy admitting he's breaking the law. He's admitted he's breaking the rules, and he just says, well, everybody should be a little gay. No, not necessarily, dickhead. Maybe you need to be gay, but not everybody needs to be gay. Not everybody needs a little bit of gay. People need to understand what homosexuality is, but it's not your job, man. Your job is to teach English, history, arithmetic, math, not homosexuality, not your value system. I don't like your value system, especially with what you did here. It's not because I don't like you because you're homosexual. I don't like you grooming the kids. So at the end of the day, this is you parents need to pay attention out there, and I'm not blaming you. This isn't your fault. You're assuming and you're expecting a good education for your children. That's why you pay your taxes, and that's why you put them into the system. Horrible. Time to draw a line in the sand. Let's do it. All right. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Take the short form, take the long form, share it far and wide, grow your own social media. Get over to X, follow G Valentine, follow Lance Migliaccio, follow The Big Mig Show, join our community. Ask to join the community, we'll add you. Go follow us on YouTube. Go follow us on Locals. Even if you only watch us here on Rumble, go follow us there. Help us grow. Same thing for all the podcast platforms. If you have Spotify, if you have iHeart, go over there and find The Big Mig Show. Hit a follow, leave a comment, share the content. Do whatever. You got to help us grow. We can't grow without you guys. We need it. And if you can do a Rumble Rant tip on the way out the door, if you can do a $5 paid subscription, at a minimum, hit the follow button. We'll see you here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard, doing exactly what we're doing right now, exposing the truth, educating and unifying the country one episode at a time. George B., what's the last words of wisdom coming out of FAFO world?
It's hump day. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Y'all have a blessed day.
Can't let that go.
Nope. I love you guys. Stay safe and stay frosty out there. Peace.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA, the future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
In a world of uncertainty, be prepared with Silver Prepper Bars, your ultimate hedge against political instability and economic turmoil. Introducing the Silver Prepper Bar, crafted from 0.999 pure silver and proudly made in the USA. This tangible, divisible asset can come in handy even in the toughest of times. Portable, perforated, and easily tradable, the Silver Prepper Bar is your lifeline in times of crisis. When facing inflation, currency devaluation, and financial meltdown, Silver Prepper Bars provide peace of mind. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Secure your future today with the exclusive Silver Prepper Bar, the only silver bar on the market divisible into 3 different size pieces for maximum utility, all while fitting in your wallet. Don't leave your future to chance. Order your Silver Prepper Bars now at prepperbar.com. Silver Prepper Bars, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Order now.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these K9 units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit warriordogfoundation.org.